There's one island that has like this crazy hole in the ground that was made by pirates. There's a television show about it. You know what I'm talking about?
The Curse of Oak Island.
And they have some crazy hole in the ground that they're trying to figure out how to get into, but there's all these weird little
booby traps and like all this crazy stuff.
For over 200 years, Oak Island has guarded one of the greatest mysteries on Earth. A hidden treasure buried beneath layers of traps, tunnels, and lies. Generations have tried to crack its code, and every single one has failed. But now, Joe Rogan has finally spoken. And what he just said about Oak Island's newest discovery has everyone, from historians to conspiracy theorists, losing their minds. He's breaking his silence on a find so strange. It could rewrite everything we thought we knew about the island's true purpose. What did Joe Rogan reveal? And why are experts calling this the biggest clue in decades? Stay tuned, because by the end of this video, you'll see Oak Island in a way you never have before. Oak Island is a small island off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada, that holds a secret that has baffled and fascinated explorers for centuries. It is said that somewhere on the island there is a hidden treasure of unimaginable value, a treasure that contains relics from Marie Antoinette, holy artifacts, and even Shakespeare's manuscripts. It is also rumored to be Captain Kidd's lost treasure, belonging to the legendary pirate who buried his loot on various islands. The treasure has been sought by countless adventurers who have spent their fortunes and their lives in the quest for glory. But the treasure is not easy to find. It is protected by a series of ingenious and deadly traps designed to keep intruders away. However, in a revelation that has sent shockwaves through the world, Joe Rogan, the renowned podcast host of The Joe Rogan Experience, has exposed a spine-chilling discovery on Oak Island. Rogan's recent revelations have added a sinister twist to the island's enigma. But first, it's important to understand some context. The saga of Oak Island began in 1795, when a young boy named Daniel McGinnis was exploring the island with his friends. He noticed a strange depression on the ground, shaped like a circle. Intrigued by the stories of buried treasure he had heard, he decided to investigate. He and his friends started digging and soon found a layer of flagstone 2 feet below the surface. They thought they had found a clue and continued digging, hoping to find the treasure. But as they dug deeper, they found something odd. The pit they were digging had marks of old tools on its walls. It was obvious that someone had dug and filled the pit before them. But who could this be? And why? Oak Island was a remote and isolated place, so there was no apparent reason for anyone to dig such a deep and elaborate pit unless they had something very valuable to hide at the bottom. And so the search for Captain Kidd's lost treasure began. After digging a huge 10-meter deep hole, the size of a 3-story building, they still found nothing. The diggers lacked the time, tools, and manpower to dig any deeper, so they gave up and left the giant hole in the ground, which became known as the Money Pit. 10 years later, another group came to Oak Island to resume the search, where Daniel and his friends had left off. The discovery of the Money Pit sparked a frenzy of interest and speculation, attracting treasure hunters from all over the world. But what they didn't know was that the treasure was guarded by a series of ingenious and deadly traps designed to keep intruders away. And what they also didn't know was that a new and shocking discovery was waiting for them. A discovery that could change everything. One of the earliest and most notable groups that came to Oak Island in 1806 was the Onslow Company, a team of adventurers armed with pickaxes and shovels. They were determined to find the treasure that Daniel and his friends had failed to reach. The Onslow Company resumed the excavation of the hole, which came to be known as the Money Pit. As they dug deeper, They encountered more layers of oak logs every 10 feet, as well as other strange materials such as putty, charcoal, and coconut fiber. It was clear that someone had gone to great lengths to conceal whatever was buried there. The Onslow Company was intrigued by these findings, and they continued to dig with renewed enthusiasm. Eventually, they hit something solid at about 90 feet. They hoped that they had finally reached the treasure, but when they pulled out a stone tablet with an inscription, they were met with a sudden disaster. The tunnel filled with water and flooded all around them, forcing them to flee for their lives. The Onslow Company did everything they could to stop the flooding, but it was no use. They had no idea who had created such a clever trap or what had caused it to spring. It soon became clear that the tunnel would flood again with every high tide, making any further digging impossible. Reluctantly, they abandoned their search. Though they never found the treasure, they considered the stone tablet they discovered to be an important find. Not long after, they left the island, taking the tablet with them. After the Onslow Company's departure, the mysterious stone tablet puzzled people for many years. No one could understand the strange carvings on it until a professor from Halifax finally managed to decode the symbols. His discovery revealed an exciting clue about the treasure's location. The inscription read, "40 feet below, 2 million pounds are buried." This message hinted that the treasure was still within reach, if someone could just conquer the problem of the flooding tunnels. Yet the mystery of Oak Island didn't stop there. According to legend, 7 people must die before the treasure is uncovered. So far, 6 lives had already been lost in the relentless pursuit of the hidden fortune. While some dismissed the legend as superstition, it never stopped others from continuing the hunt. Over the years, countless theories emerged about what might be buried on Oak Island. Some believed the island hid the lost works or wealth of William Shakespeare, or perhaps Francis Bacon, who was rumored to belong to a secret society that concealed its secrets there. Others thought Marie Antoinette had sent her jewels and riches to the island during the French Revolution, aided by a French naval officer who was also a Freemason. If both stories were true, the Oak Island treasure would be worth a king's fortune. Some sailors even claimed that infamous pirates like Captain Kidd or Blackbeard might have buried their plunder there, as both were known to hide loot on remote islands. Another theory centered on the Freemasons, suggesting that Masonic symbols found on the island, like a stone triangle and a large cross, pointed to a treasure linked to their secret society, which was said to have ties to the Knights Templar and even the Holy Grail. Then, after 50 long years, a determined group from Toronto arrived on Oak Island in 1849, eager to continue the quest for the elusive treasure. They had heard of the Onslow Company's earlier discoveries and were determined to solve the mystery themselves. They tried reopening the old pits, but, just like before, the tunnels filled with water. However, the Toronto team noticed something unusual. The water was slightly salty and rose and fell with the tides. This was a vital clue in the ongoing search for the money pit. Exploring further, they discovered a narrow underground channel leading toward the treasure. Later called Smith's Cove, this passage was part of an intricate and brilliant flood system designed to protect whatever was buried below. It was the first of many strange and ingenious challenges awaiting the treasure hunters. Despite their determination, the flood system proved too much for the Toronto Company. It became clear that something of great value lay buried beneath Oak Island, but the complex traps and barriers made reaching it nearly impossible. Every attempt to dig from different angles ended the same way, with flooding and cave-ins. In the end, the Toronto group, like those before them, had no choice but to abandon their quest and leave Oak Island behind. This raises the question, who will be the next to take on the challenge of solving the mystery of Oak Island? And who might be the next to pay the price for their curiosity and ambition? Remarkably, The mystery of Oak Island has remained unsolved for more than 200 years, yet the legend continues to endure. Since the days of the Toronto Company, countless expeditions, investigations, and documentaries have tried to uncover the truth, but none have succeeded in finding the treasure or explaining its origin. Even with modern technology, metal detectors, sonar, and ground-penetrating radar, searchers have only uncovered new clues and strange anomalies that make the mystery even deeper. Some claim to have discovered artifacts linking the treasure to powerful historical groups and events such as the Knights Templar, the Rosicrucians, the American Revolution, and the Freemasons, but none of these connections have ever been proven beyond doubt. Over the years, Oak Island's mystery has drawn the fascination of many famous and influential figures who have either joined or funded the hunt. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, long before becoming President of the United States, was part of the Old Gold Salvage Group in 1909 and reportedly remained captivated by the island's enigma throughout his life. Hollywood legends Errol Flynn and John Wayne also helped finance several treasure-hunting expeditions. In the 1930s, 2 treasure seekers were even ordered to report their discoveries directly to King George VI of England, who was said to be intrigued by the island's secrets as well. Yet not everyone who's gone after the treasure has been driven by curiosity or greed. Some, according to Joe Rogan, who explored the story in his podcast, may have been motivated by darker intentions. Rogan proposed that rather than being a vault of riches, the money pit might actually be a deadly trap, designed to lure treasure hunters to their doom. He pointed to the many lives lost in pursuit of the elusive fortune, and noted reports of hauntings that have given Oak Island an eerie reputation. Rogan also highlighted how the island's traps and flood tunnels were so ingeniously crafted that they may have been intended to make retrieving the treasure completely impossible. Still, he suggested that perhaps the creators of these defenses made a mistake, one that might someday allow someone to finally reach what lies beneath. Rogan also noted one of the most intriguing aspects of the legend: the idea that the treasure's immense value has caused the island to change ownership many times throughout history, hinting at hidden power struggles behind the scenes. The fascination with Oak Island has also extended into popular culture, inspiring countless books, documentaries, and television shows. Among them, the most famous is The Curse of Oak Island, a hit series on the History Channel that follows a team of modern explorers as they attempt to solve the centuries-old riddle and unearth the treasure. Since its debut in 2014, the show has captivated millions of viewers around the world and built a passionate fan base. At the center of the series are the Lagina brothers, Rick and Marty, whose fascination with Oak Island began when they were children. Their interest was sparked by an article they read in Reader's Digest in 1965, which recounted the legend of the treasure and the many failed attempts to recover it. The story ignited a lifelong passion in Rick, who dreamed of one day exploring the island himself. Years later, he convinced his brother Marty, a successful engineer and entrepreneur, to join him in his mission. In 2006, the brothers made their dream a reality by purchasing a controlling interest in Oak Island, determined to solve its mystery once and for all. The Lagina brothers have poured their time, money, and energy into the relentless search for Oak Island's hidden treasure, using the latest technology and state-of-the-art equipment to dig deeper and wider than anyone before them. They've brought together a team of experts from diverse fields, archaeology, geology, history, and engineering, to help unravel the island's centuries-old enigma. Along their journey, they've uncovered remarkable artifacts: old coins, military buttons, fragments of pottery, human remains, and even a beautiful brooch set with a large garnet. Yet, despite these fascinating discoveries, The Lagina brothers have still not found the legendary treasure they dreamed of since childhood, leaving many to wonder whether it ever existed at all. At the same time, some skeptics have nicknamed Oak Island Hoax Island, pointing to the lack of solid evidence supporting any of the grand tales surrounding it. The island's history remains clouded in mystery and debate. There is no definitive proof that anyone unearthed anything of real value before the 1860s, when the first documented excavations by local boys and the Onslow Company took place. Most earlier and later stories rely on hearsay or second-hand accounts from people who merely claim to have taken part or witnessed the digs. One of the most perplexing elements in the Oak Island saga is the mysterious inscribed stone supposedly discovered in the 1800s at a depth of 90 feet. Many believe it carried a coded message or clue to the treasure's location, but its authenticity and meaning remain deeply disputed. The stone wasn't officially reported until 1862 and was conspicuously absent from the Oak Island Treasure Company's 1893 investment prospectus, which detailed all known facts about the site. Even more suspiciously, the stone itself was never photographed or properly documented. Only a sketch made in 1949 exists, based on an uncertain translation. Another source of controversy is the so-called curse said to haunt Oak Island and its treasure seekers. Christina Downs, Ph.D., managing editor of the Journal of Folklore Research at Indiana University, warns treasure hunters to approach such tales with skepticism. She notes that curses and cryptic codes are often later inventions, dramatic embellishments added to make unverified stories sound more mysterious and believable. Joe Rogan has also voiced his doubts about the existence of any real treasure on Oak Island. He's questioned how, after 10 seasons of searching and millions of dollars invested, the Lagina brothers, who not only own a large share of the island, but also star in a hit reality series about their hunt, have yet to uncover anything truly conclusive. Rogan has suggested that the entire story could be a myth, a hoax, or perhaps just a centuries-old wild goose chase. Still, despite the skepticism and unanswered questions, the legend of Oak Island continues to fascinate. Its blend of history, mystery, and human obsession ensuring that the truth remains just out of reach. Research by historian Joy A. Steele and retired marine geologist Gordon Fader suggests that Oak Island was once home to a secret British industrial hub. By studying business records and letters from the time, the two concluded that in 1720, the British Crown partnered with private companies and the military to carry out industrial operations on Oak Island. These included pine tar production, brass making, and wire drawing, enterprises meant to help the Crown pay off its debts. According to their findings, it was the largest industrial site in Canada at the time. There were a million reasons to go to Oak Island, Fader explains. It had easy access to fresh water, it was close to the shore, safe, and offered good anchorage. It's the biggest island in the bay. Steele and Fader firmly believe that the money pit was not a man-made treasure vault, but a natural geological feature that the British repurposed as a pine tar kiln to make tar and pitch for their ships. The various materials found during excavations, layers of wood, charcoal, and putty, match what would be expected in the remains of an old tar kiln, Fader says. He also notes that the U-shaped structure uncovered at Smith's Cove was likely part of a storage shed used to keep barrels of pine tar cool and shaded from the sun. In those days, pine tar was as valuable as oil is today, Fader adds. Ships couldn't sail unless they were coated in tar to prevent leaks. That's what was happening on Oak Island. Every artifact we've found fits that theory perfectly. Another argument against the idea of a man-made money pit comes from the island's geological makeup. Fader explains that Oak Island's bedrock is highly susceptible to erosion caused by seawater and underground water flow. This natural process creates a network of fractures, caves, and cavities known as a karst system, features that often collapse and form sinkholes. During his time as a marine geologist for the Canadian government, Fader mapped the coastal geology of Nova Scotia and found that sinkholes are common throughout the region. At least 2 have been identified on Oak Island itself, with many more appearing on the nearby mainland. Supporting this theory, Stephen Aitken, Ph.D., a geoscientist with more than 25 years of experience studying the Oak Island area, agrees that natural evidence points to the Money Pit being a sinkhole. Consistent with Fader's findings, Aitken explains that the bedrock beneath that section of the island has dissolved over time, creating a karst system where caves have collapsed to form sinkholes, including the Money Pit. He adds that the flooding so often described as evidence of booby traps is actually a natural occurrence, caused by the flow of fresh water through the island's sandy subsurface. "I don't want to crush anyone's dream," Aitken says, "but there's no hidden vault or booby trap designed to guard buried treasure in the Money Pit. Every one of these features can be explained by simple, basic science." Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more fascinating stories, mysteries, and discoveries. Share your thoughts below. What do you think is really hidden on Oak Island?